Hey everybody, I just wanted to give you an update on the Singularity print. As many of you know, or hopefully know, the print at the end of 2017 didn't go so well. The print itself was successful. The wipe wall was atrocious, but did its job. That was a simple mistake on my part in terms of the slicing. I should have known better than to make it a single perimeter thick, because the PVA does not like to sit right on top of itself. Anyways, so yeah, that print successful. Got the cocoon or the wipe wall off of it, got it out, dissolved the PVA, and got the print out. And then in post, trying to clean it up, I broke it. So what should have been my crowning achievement as far as prints for 2017 became probably one of my biggest failures. But I just laughed it off because, well, at that point, that's all you could do. But I wanted to kind of show you where we're going from here, and why we're still trying to print this. So after the failure, which, let me explain how that happened here. During post, I was holding it kind of much like this, and since it is a large object like this, there was a lot of weight while I was holding it like this, and I was running it under warm water, and so these 4 points right in here kind of got really weak, and the thing started drooping and eventually broke right here. Very sad, but at the same time, it's giving me some opportunity to make this much better. First off, if you notice, the copper that we're using, I was having some under extrusion, retraction, some kind of issues here where it wasn't quite filling in all the way. And so, using this opportunity to do the reprint, I went and visited Alex over at Proto-Pasta, who is working on this filament. That's where this filament's coming from. Wanted to give him an opportunity to look at it, play with it, and give me some ideas as to how to print it better. So that's what you see here in the background is our reprint, and I only printed half of it because what we were looking for is we were just looking again to see this curvature, if we were going to get the same kind of issues on the curves, and so we started at the halfway and just kind of went up. And the original intent was to only print to about here just to see if we were going to get the same kind of issues or not. But then I decided to continue because I wanted to see it bridge this gap, because when it's printing this piece, and then eventually it's got to connect the two right here. And I was curious about how I was going to do that, because when I tried to print this on the Trinus in standard PLA, I got a nice little Singularity spaghetti. So I just kind of wanted to see if it could bridge it, and then once it bridged it, it was doing so well, I was like, you know what, let's just let it go all the way to the end, and this will make a nice piece for testing of the post-processing, whether we do polishing or get really brave and try and throw it in a rock tumbler. But however we decide that we're going to post-process the copper, this will give us some pieces to actually do that with, so this will be awesome. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at this. The test print was successful. I think we're now ready to go ahead and do a full print. I just wanted to point out a couple of things. People might be asking, why are we printing this with PVA? And that's because the whole model, now this is a model that I printed in pink PLA with PVA support, based on Asher's recommendation. Asher is Dizingof, who made the model. It's his real name, and he gave me an idea to actually print it with the PLA as a test print before the copper, and so did that. Learned some interesting things, especially seeing this ridge here. So that was actually a very good idea, very good suggestion, and I was able to get a nice little test print. But back to the point, the reason that we're using supports is that there is no flat bottom on this. Now when I did it on the Trinus, I actually did shrink it, shift it in the Z direction so that there was 4 flat pieces, and that was just because I wanted to see if it could be done without supports, because it is, as you can see, here I printed it with just a raft and there's no supports underneath it. So I was just trying to test the theory if it would actually work, but there's no flat pieces on the actual model itself, and when the model is sitting down, only one of the 4 is actually touching the surface, and each of the other 4 outer loops, or sorry, each of the other 3 outer loops eventually touches the Z, usually about 2 or 3 layers later. So this is touches, and then about 2 layers later this one, and then 2 layers later this one, and then finally 2 more layers later this one is now touching. So there definitely needs to be some kind of support to actually get this thing to sit nicely, because you are not going to be able to tilt this and get it to sit. I've tried that, get it to sit flat. So just going to print it as is with the PVA as a support. This also gives the opportunity to play with the PVA, which is again another kind of whole point to this whole project. We should be kicking off the full print in the next day or so. In case you're curious, this is one scale of 1 to 1, and this right here is blown up to, we're at 175% of scale on this piece here. Could have probably gone 200 and still fit on the print bed, but I was thinking that 175 actually looked pretty good as far as size. I really did like how it blew up nicely, and so actually I think printing at this at a larger scale is much nicer than just the small scale. And part of the reason that we did do that blow up as well is Asher did reach out after he saw the video on my failure. He mentioned that a veteran maker had commented that this center portion was actually very fragile in terms of making this at scale, especially when using a metal infused filament like the copper. So that's again another reason why we are going bigger, so that we can actually be successful on this. So that's where we stand, and I hope you catch us on the next video. Thank you for watching.